what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking and putting this floor into this cab. Now we got to do a little bit of rust repair. We got to do a little rust repair there, a little bit there, and a little bit there, but we'll get her done. In this edition, we're going to be taking and getting this floor, a little prep work. We're going to fix the end of this rocker panel. We're going to clean it up, tap out holes. We're going to weld this floor section in, and then we're going to make some rot out panels for that section of floor there, firewall. Do a little repair over there.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
doesn't look the greatest, but I kind of just took a piece of metal and beat it into the shape I needed, and then trimmed the edges. Ended up having to weld down a little section I cut short. So that's going to be the patch panel for there. So I'm just going to overlap weld it. There's probably 3-4 millimeters of overlap around the perimeter. I did notice that up here in the corner there's a little bit of cracking in the seam sealer. It looks like water's been leaking. So that was probably the cause of this corner dropping out. The rest of it was right out there. So I'm happy with that patch. I know it's not the greatest looking thing, but it'll work. So on this side, trimmed out. So you can see it's just a little overlap. And then when I'm done, I'll grind the excess off. And this is where I welded that piece on the corner where I cut it short. Well, got that patch in. This will have to get finished up when the floor goes in. I kept the weld a little bit high, but it's smooth. If this was an outside panel or something, I'd kind of make that look good, whatever. But this is all that this requires. I know the camera makes that look a little weird with all the grinding marks in it, but that's fully solid this side, and then this is what it looks like on the other side. So I'll get seam sealer both sides all around it. This is all factory seam sealer here, so I'll try to duplicate that pattern. It's sprayed on, but I'm going to be brushing it on, but I'll try to make it look similar. So that's what that patch looks like. Not the best looking patch in the world, but I guarantee that's going to get the job done, and that's all that matters. I really don't want to spend any more time on it. All right, my next task, actually it's a little bit cold in here, so I'm gonna put my hat on. So the next thing that I need to do is this rocker panel. So I picked this up, like $80 or something, made in Taiwan. It seems to be a pretty reasonable replica. It's really not that great, but if I line it up down here where it looks like it wants to line up, up here it looks like it's coming up short by about, I don't know, 2 centimeters, something like that. But that might be wrong, because this one was cut at that length there, and it looks like, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Hard to say for sure. So this is the part that I took off of this floor, and this one is the one off of the truck, which is just as bad. So that's why I got this new piece. It's just I was debating whether or not to just cut the end section off, and just put it, the rest of the rocker is still good. So if I measure, not that this is in the right spot, but if I measure from that hole back to this cut, roughly 142 millimeters. And on this, I do the same. I'm at, roughly 144. It really doesn't matter a lot. It's the fender holes, but they have a large diameter in the fender, so there's a lot of adjustment there, and you can always hog out extra material if you need to adjust it. So you'd be worried about a gap right here looking weird. It's already a different shape, so it's already going to look weird there. So I had measured 900 from the 900 from, is it 900? Yeah, it's 900. So from that, there, 900 is right about there. Slide that. I mean, I think that's good enough. If I take and cut this, cut this long, so just pretending like it lines up like that, which it looks like it does. I can kind of use this hole as a reference. Problem is like this could easily just be that much farther forward, which brings it to where it would have been on the old one. So it's like, it's tough to make that call, because this has to line up with the A-pillar on that. So I think that is the measurement that's going to matter, is from there, from the A-pillar to the cut is, let's see, 232 millimeters. So, just gonna put it right there. Which means it's about an inch behind the boss there. Which means it wants to be right there, which makes this right, that wrong. So I think I'm better off just cutting this. Yeah, because we're quite a bit off there, 3/8. About 9.5 millimeters off. So, and that lines up better up here. Kind of sucks. So this front is important because it meets the A-pillar around this corner. The back not so much, because it just sits along this flat, and it doesn't matter if it's here where they've got the indent or if it's back a little bit. You know, you just have a little bit of a gap between the indent and the other panel, which you're filling that with seam sealer anyway, and a body filler down through here, so it really doesn't matter. What's important is where this curve is up here. So I'm going to do a bunch of measuring and think about this for a little bit before I start making cuts. I think that's what I'm going to do is cut this and just put this section of this rocker panel in. And it looks like they made this replacement rocker panel. It's a slip over, so it'll actually fit over top of the old one. All right, so I got that trimmed up. I almost forgot that I needed to put this inner piece in, but I got it. So it isn't the best fitting piece, but it does fit. So I'll be able to weld that up. And we're going to do the corners first, and then worry about the rest later. I've got some weld through primer on there. I've never used it before, but I decided to give it a try. But so that's going to be ready to start welding shortly. Whew. I meant to turn you on earlier. I guess I'll show you my nipples later. Let's see. realize that's probably peaking the shit out of the audio. Ooh. Problem welding upside down. Let me show you what I got. Alright, so the seam is pretty straight across. Put a straight edge on it, it's slightly low. So I'll be able to fill the divot. And under here, I'm missing with the weld because it's welding up. But I got all the plug welds done. Just need to clean everything up. And finish the seam up, but I gotta, I think I'm gonna flip it up to do that. I'm gonna do the center pump first. But I'll cut you back on when I do that. Alright, I've been welding this patch in, so I have it overlapped, and then I'm running the grinder through and butting it together. And I've gone through and tacked up this edge, so it's ready to be welded. And I've gone through and already butt welded this whole length here. And on this side, I've got to go through, I still got to go through and cut to get up to this corner, but so the overlap pieces are falling off as it goes. Yeah, so that should actually come out looking pretty good. Didn't really need to be done this way right here, but I wanted to test this new welding machine out to see if it would work. So I'm going to finish that, but I'm probably not going to clean these welds up too much. Alright, that was about 2.5 hours to weld and clean it up. That's as good as it's gonna get. I did do a butt weld through here because I wanted to make sure that the welder was capable of all that. The weld machine was good to go. This panel here, I just did a overlap, so it's not the prettiest thing, but it doesn't matter. So what I got to do here is I got to measure out and then cut the hole for the 2-wheel drive hole in the floor and get that so that I can mount the boot on it and everything. The 2-wheel drive doesn't have a console cover, but I want to use the one off of the automatic, and I'll just make up a leather boot for it. So I kept this on here, and I kept these 2 holes to take the bracket off of the automatic transmission, so that thing will have a place to mount. So I just gotta weld some nuts in these holes. Over here. I had to do some touch up, and I haven't drawn that down yet, but it'll be fine the way it is. I probably won't even grind it down. So I'm almost ready to start welding this in. I just have a little bit more cleanup to do. I got to flip this back up and do a couple things on the bottom side, paint this area. I want to cut that hole first, but I got to get those measurements. And then right here, I still got to put this little patch piece in here. I may cut it out and then weld it in after it's in the truck. And then over here, I've got to fill these holes that I drilled all the way through. So once I get those holes drilled and those other couple things done, I'm ready to mount this floor. So hopefully I'll be doing that by tomorrow. It's getting pretty late right now. So I don't know how much more I'm doing today, but I'm hoping to get everything ready today so that tomorrow I'm sliding the cab back onto it and starting to weld that in place. I'm kind of worried, pretty low on gas for the welder, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get it fully welded in, but I should be able to get it at least 4 corners and whatever. So that's where we're at. So tomorrow's another day. We'll get her done. All right, I've skipped ahead a little bit. Well, not intentionally. I took a picture instead of hitting the record button. Flat finger and stuff, whatever. But so let me show you where I've gotten to. So I finished cleaning up the floor and stripped it down, sanded it down, did some seam sealing, put a layer of paint on it. Even on the underside, it's all seam sealed around this. I still have to cut out the new hole in the hump, but I got to measure that out first. I'm not ready quite yet to do that. I've got the floor kind of slid under, so putting this in, I've got to get the front overlapping the firewall first, so it's sitting at an angle. It's high in the front, while the cab is low in the front, the floor is sitting level, but so it's over top of that lip right all the way across, and I've got some ratchet straps holding it from coming back, and I've got all the panels on the right side of everything here, so I should be able to release the ratchet straps here. It's probably going to get hung up on a few different spots along the back. Hopefully I don't have my finger in there, because it's like a guillotine if I do. So we're just going to try to avoid that. Once that's down, then I got to maneuver everything in place front and back, because it's not fully in yet. Get everything in place. I've got measurements written down somewhere for the door openings. So I'll get the front all clamped in place, because it's pretty obvious like where that's got to line up, and the same thing down here. It has to sit on the front of this. The back should also be pretty obvious, but I can, if the door opens off a little bit, I can adjust it. Get a couple of self-tapping screws here and here, all 4 of them, and then maybe a couple across the back, and then I can completely take it off of the scaffolding, roll that out of the way, and then before I do any welding, I'll mount the doors on and make sure they all still fit. That'll be good. Let's see, Once that's all good, then I can just start doing all the plug welds all the way around. And I did go through and weld up those holes. I don't know if you can see it or not, because I put weld through primer on everything. But I think everything's looking pretty good. So I'm going to try to set the camera up so you can see the rest of this going together. Okay, I'm going to start lowering this down. I'm going to need to put something in here to hold that panel so that it doesn't go behind this panel on both sides. Let me see if I can find something to do that. I think that'll work. Same on both sides. Okay, so got tension there holding the front. So I should just be able to release this. It'll probably get hung up in the center back there, but I can use a screwdriver or something else to pry it past it when it gets there. So hopefully this goes as good as I want it to. All right, pressure's off this side. So I'm just prying this panel up over the lip. All right. What did that do up front? Looks like it may have slid, yep, it slid in both sides, correct? Like it's sitting a little low all the way in the back. And the floor can go forward some more. how many vice grips I'm gonna need for this, but imagine it's gonna be a few. So many options. So one of the issues that I might have here is because this floor is off of a rollover truck, the quarter was rolled on it. So it looks like it's pulled this out of plane a little bit. So I might have to like hit that a little bit with a hammer. But should be able to get this back, lift it up into place pretty easily. That's it there. That's a good 6 millimeters out. About right back here, through here, here and there. A little bit of adjustment needed. show you what's going on. So, it's where the fuck did I put that? Okay, so this is I'm using a program on the phone. So it becomes a little more difficult because I can't see the screen while I'm recording. But so this isn't quite going all the way up to the seam. So it needs to pull back, and you can see that right there. But it looks like the rocker panel is now holding it from doing that, which means that I welded on the rocker panel a little bit long, which isn't a big deal. I can all I gotta do is put a relief cut in and through here, and allow the post to come back. This being a little bit long doesn't matter. The only thing it may affect is the fender fit up right here. I'm not too worried about that. So I can even see it here. The post is sitting farther back than it should on the rocker. But that's something I can work with. A little bit of trimming and should be able to get that to come right over. I mean, honestly, it doesn't need to even go all the way forward because the floor will pull back to it. It's just that this right here should be lined up. But now over here, this all pretty well lines up where it's supposed to. This all through here lines up the way it's supposed to. All the way back and down the back of the cab there. So that's all good here. And back here, this is good. This is pretty well following the contour correctly. Same thing on this side. It's following the contour. Right up in here, it's a little bit low, so the floor may be bent down a little in the center. So I may have to get like a jack from here to here and just push that up. But it looks pretty good through there. And then on this side, this is the where it all fits good on the inside. Through there, down through here. See, it's sticking out, and that's because this is bent. This is bent here, which would have been from the rollover of the cab that the floor is off of. And then you come over here, and this is all lining up pretty good. My new patch is pretty decent. It's got to be tightened up right here, but that's because of the way I'm pulling on the floor. It's actually pulling it away at the bottom. This all looks good through here, so everything looks like I can work with it. So I think I'm going to go through, and where it fits right, put some self-tappers in it to hold everything. And then I think I'm going to fix this corner, because I think this corner and that corner are going to be my datums. And then get the whole back of the cab sitting right, self-tapered in place. And then I can work on this front here, which may still be influenced by the by this jack, because it's still holding pressure on it. So that should It should sit down. So we'll get the pressure off that, pressure off the straps, get some self-tappers back into it, and then I'll cut you back on when I'm done with that. Alright, that wasn't actually as hard as I thought it was going to be. I've got this lined up through here. That one lines up perfect. I measured across the door openings. There, across to here. Same on both sides, measures the same as it did before I cut it apart. I put a strap across from here to the same on the other side to pull some tension inward on it, and then I hit it right here to straighten that out, and then I put a couple of screws in, hold it in place. That worked out really good. A couple of screws there, back there, same on the other side, and then I went across the back, put some screws in. Everything's lined up where the factory alignment marks are. Same thing here, this lines up right where the old one did. Screws. And then up here, I thought this was wrong, but it's actually not. The floor was bent a little forward. So once I straightened that out, this all lined right up. So I just need to do a little repair on that edge there, weld the piece in. Same on the other side, I still have to weld that piece in, but it's aligned all the way across the front. I still have to weld this little piece in here. Not a big deal. So it's ready to weld, except that I want to test fit the doors before I start any of that. This thing's now fully supported on the stand. It's no longer hanging from anything, front or back. So now I can wheel this out of the way. So I think this is where this one's going to leave off for now. I'll come back to this in a couple of weeks. Kind of want this cab to go on to the 1 ton, which you saw me work on in previous videos, but it's that truck there. It's tough because that cab is in perfect, it's no rust, it's in perfect condition. So I'm basically taking a good truck apart. All I know is right now I've got to get this building permit closed out, so I got to focus on that for a while. And I also, I've brought a lot of stuff in the garage here and kind of made a disaster out of the place, so I've got to clean it up. And I also have to fix this, where when it rains out, water comes in through this door. I think that's just the gutter fixes that. But that's all for now, and I'll see you on the next one.